Welcome to the 210 Nerds. As always, my name is Max James, and in this episode of the TTN Presents, I'll be talking about the first group of movies for my new February project, in which I'll be watching a new movie every day. The reasoning behind this is because there's two different reasons behind this. One, I need to make a video, and my newest video that I would have came out a couple days ago, I decided to rewrite because the way it felt, it was like the middle of a movie, like the tail end of the first act and the beginning of the third act. It kind of felt like the middle of the movie. I need to have a more cohesive and coherent script before I can start filming. So that's the number one reason. And the second reason is because if you look at my recently watched list on Netflix, it would be nothing but TV shows with a few movies kind of scattered in there. And those movies that are scattered in there are movies that I have seen 100 times. They either be Clerks or Kill Bill, even a few, even though there might be a couple movies I've not seen. But that was just because I just wanted to watch them, not because I had a project going on. And that's what I decided to do for the month of February, is to watch a new movie every night. And it's currently February 5th, so I have 4 days to talk about, and February 5th video will be in a second part, like 4 or 5 days later, because these videos will be will not be daily. They're just going to be showing up every 4 to 5 days, depending on my willingness to step in front of the camera. So 4 to 5 movies, but every video will have a key movie I'll kind of go into and talk more deeply about. And the movie that I have planned for this video is a good one, because I've been wanting to see this one for a very long time. So I'm just going to jump right into telling you. I'm going to quit rambling, and my first movie up is... The first movie in this new project that I'm doing is Chef, directed by Jon Favreau and starring Jon Favreau, and as well as John Leguizamo, Sofia Vergara, and Scarlett Johansson. She's in this for a little bit, but you'll see her name pop up quite a bit through the next few videos. And so the movie takes off is where it's on the night of this blogger coming in. He is a big time food blogger. He just recently sold his website to a major company for like $10 million, and he's like, whoa. So he's big time. So he's preparing this really nice menu, and then the owner of the restaurant's like, no, you're not doing that. You're gonna be cooking the favorites, the greatest hits of what over the 10 years, and he doesn't want to do that. He wants to cook something fresh. He wants to do new. He wants to be creative. And the restaurant owner's like, no, who played by Dustin Hoffman. He's like, no, you're not doing that. And so he ends up cooking his greatest hits, and the review is horrible. It just kills him basically. So he kind of gets into this Twitter war with the help of his son, because he doesn't know what Twitter is, and he's like, so that scene where he's signing up for Twitter is kind of like laying the groundwork for later on in the movie, where they kind of start to connect on a more father and son level, because he kind of doesn't quite grasp the notion of being a father. He kind of like, you know what, just watch a movie, just go do this and do that, but he doesn't really kind of like sit down and talk to him. He just does more things with him to kind of spend time with him, but he doesn't connect with him. So through the help of his son, he gets into the Twitter war and goats him into saying, you need to come back and I'll fix you something good. And so when he comes back, and that night again, he's going to fix all the stuff he originally going to plan. And once again, the restaurant owner is like, no, you're not doing that. We already have the menu set. You're not dealing with it. And then he's like, I'll quit. He quits, and that's where the movie kind of really starts to pick up. His ex-wife, his ex-wife's ex-husband, he offers a food truck, and that's where he's like, that allows him to cook what he wants to cook, and he just be a chef again. So, it was really great, and it's a good movie. And throughout the third to second half to the third act of the movie, it's just him kind of being a chef, going on this road trip with his son and his best friend, cooking food. And at the same time, his son is helping him kind of gain an audience and get his name out there. And it's really good. Dialogue's great. Some good acting in this movie. Some really good music. Not your more traditional pop hits and movie songs that you'd know. Just like you got some I don't know get some Cuban music in there, and it fits really well into the movie because he ends up cooking Cuban food, and so it's like it just fits really well within the realm of this movie, and I really like it. So the second movie for this project is Lucy. This movie is pretty good. I thought it was really good. It's a sci-fi movie mixed with action, and it kind of follows the whole thing around you only use 10% of the brain, and so they kind of in this movie they kind of explore what if you would start using more and more of the brain, what abilities you would get, and what you'd be able to manipulate and do and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty good. I know. I think even the director's like, it's just a movie. I mean, people are kind of get a little too into the whole what's it called, the science of it all. And when you just break it down, it's just a movie. They're just like, I like that concept of you only using 10% of your brain. What if you start using more and more? What would happen, and what would you do? And in the realm of this movie, it works really well. It has a nice beginning, an end, and a finish for this idea, and I really like it because it stars Scarlett Johansson, who in the previous movie only had a few minor lines in the movie, and this time she has moved up to full-fledged action star and starring role in this movie, and so she is just some innocent person who ends up being thrusted into this position by her boyfriend of a week. He's like, you deliver this case for me because if I show up, they'll recognize me, and just he's trying to get out of this, and so handcuffs her to the case and basically pushes her into the hotel lobby. And then he's like, she's kind of she's really nervous at this point. You can tell, and then things just start going wrong, and then they end up opening the case through a very cool sequence, and I really like it. And they end up taking the contents of the case. It's drugs, and they end up kind of using her as a drug trafficking mule, and kind of spread it all over the world. And so, and that's where things go wrong. Wherever she ends up getting beat up a little bit by the people who are holding her captive, and the bag leaks. And so it starts giving her these powers, and her brain is she's able to access more of her brain power, and she just starts just running amok on everyone, just beating everyone down and whoever gets in her way. And she's kind of mindless, but she's starting to become less human, and she's kind of worried about that, and it's really great. I don't want to give away the movie but as the movie goes on, it kind of popped up randomly what percent of brain power she's using. It's like, at first it starts at 1%. For like the earliest humans who are able to walk upright, then it cuts to her 10%, and then throughout the movie 30, 20, 40, 50, and up all the way to 100, and the natural progression to 100 works really well, and the powers that she gets is like, oh, that's cool. And I know it's a movie. I really don't think we use 10% of our brain. I think some people may use more than the others, but it's a good idea, a good starting point. It's just like 10%. What if we would use more and more and more, and what would we do, and what would happen? And I just like that. It's a good movie like that. It's just, if you start diving into the science of everything, that's when this movie starts being flawed, and that's where this movie starts to lose its fun. And and that's why I don't really kind of go into knowing a lot about what the movie's about. So it's like, that's why I like watching new movies. So, Lucy, good movie. I love it. Better Living Through Chemistry, starring Sam Rockwell. I may recognize him from Charlie's Angels and Confessions of a Dangerous Mind and Choke. So, this movie is probably the lesser of the four movies, but I still enjoyed it too. I still enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. It has some pretty funny moments in this movie. I like Sam Rockwell. I really like him a lot. He can be an extremely fun actor to watch. This one, he has some good moments scattered throughout the movie, but in order to get to him, you gotta watch the entire movie. But mainly, it follows this pharmacist who is taking over the pharmacy from his father-in-law, who originally was gonna let him rename the place to his last name, but he's like, you know what? No, we're gonna leave it up, and he's a pushover. His wife just constantly kind of beats him into the ground, telling him what to do, and he's just like, all right, fine. He's a very good guy. He's a pharmacist. He doesn't go out blurting what people's what ails them. You know, some people are more embarrassing than the other, and so he's a very professional pharmacy tech. You know, he just kind of like, you know what, that's good. Until one day where one of his co-workers gets drunk, not drunk, but he forgets his deliveries, so he has to personally go out and deliver all the medication and stuff like that, until he gets to the final house, which is there by Olivia Wilde. She's just basically in a robe, and from there, that's where the seed starts to be planted, and she kisses him, and he's like, and he leaves, and then again later on they meet up again, and that's where that seed starts to grow a bit more, and they start to drink, and things lead to another, and then, you know, it just starts to kind of go from there, and then he starts to gain some confidence, and he starts to use his pharmacy skills to make pill cocktails, you know, combinations of various pills to make better ones, and that he kind of goes on this bender of that, and as well as spending time with Olivia Wilde's character, and at the same time he's being investigated by the DEA by pills. His inventory is not matching his prescription inventory, so it's just kind of like he's a bunch of things going on, and then they start to get this idea about killing Olivia Wilde's husband and getting all the money and running off together, and that's kind of the point of the movie. And the way this movie ends is he kind of lucks out, basically. He just lucks out big time, and so that's really all I'm going to say about that. But it's a decent movie. It's fun. It had some pretty funny moments, but for the most part, there's a one scene in particular that I like a lot, where his wife has won the local bike race like 6 of the 5 times, and he's like, you know what, this year I'm going to win it. So he makes up his own prescription cocktail, and he goes out and he wins it, and it's just fun. And so I like that moment. It was fun. And the narration throughout the movie, I couldn't recognize the voice until you see her at the end of the movie, and it's like, oh, okay, and then it's just fun. It's a decent movie. For this video, and this is the key movie of the video, it is Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix, the voice of Scarlett Johansson, and Olivia Wilde. She's in there, and Chris Pratt. So it's just kind of fun, because when I was watching all 4 of these movies, I wasn't expecting to see Scarlett Johansson or Olivia Wilde show up in all of them. So it was just kind of fun. I like when things kind of like that happens, when all the movies kind of have a commonality in actors. So it's just fun like that. But anyways, and I didn't even plan it that way, so it's just cool. Anyways, the movie follows Joaquin Phoenix. He works at this company where they write letters for other people, and it's kind of weird because I'm a writer, and I'm like, I would do my own writing for love letters or anything like that. But they have other people do it. This whole business is predicated on other people writing love letters and thank you cards, and even for little kids to do this for their parents and stuff like that. It's just like, it's so impersonal. And so, and he's out walking around, and he's checking his email. It's all voice activated. He has this little like Pokedex looking thing, and it looks like if you know what Pokemon is, obviously, if you ever seen those little Pokedex things, that's what it looks like to me. And he's kind of just listening to the news. He's like, all right, I want to check that thing out, and he looks, and it's just like, it's a celebrity thing where how some celebrities kind of pose naked while pregnant to show off their pregnancy belly, and it's like, it can be artful and it can be very distasteful as well. But he singles that one out of all the other news that kind of runs through, and then he kind of walks around and he sees his new OS, his new operating system, and it's kind of has artificial intelligence, and so he buys it and takes it home, and he's setting it up, and this computer's asking him questions, and he's like, would you like a male or female voice? And he's like, female. And he's asking, like, what's your relationship with your mother? Then he kind of starts to kind of get into it, answering his questions a little bit, and then he's like, oh, done. And then that's where Scarlett Johansson's voice comes into this movie. And she does a really amazing job at voicing this operating system. Because at first, she starts out, friendly, and then throughout the movie, they kind of start falling for each other, and then ultimately it ends where it ends in the movie. I'm not going to spoil this movie at all, but let's just say that it's left to what you would like to think. So, I have my personal opinion of how it ends. So, if you ever watch it, I'll tell you. But anyways, movie is really well. It's just him kind of falling in love with his operating system, because he just recently went through a divorce. He's going through a divorce, and all he has to do is just sign the papers, and he's becoming more connected to his operating system than people. Even though you see him interacting with other people, and he's interacting them with kind of just fine, but he more opens up to his operating system, and there's some just really good moments in this movie. I love this movie all the way through. There was not a slow moment through this movie to me at all. There was moments where they kind of have to use a surrogate for their for sex. That scene kind of was like, I wasn't surprised by it, but I'm kind of glad they went in the direction they did with that scene. Then they, what else did they do? It's just, overall, it's just really good, and it's kind of like, it's so normal within this realm of the movie. I was so worried that he was going to get caught. To me, because the way watching this, because everyone is walking around talking, and they're talking to themselves, and then part of me is like, dude, you're talking too loud. And he's just, and I'm like, I forgot this is the world where he lives in it's normal to talk out loud and answering emails and stuff like that. And I'm like, and there was a while there, it was like, dude, you're talking too loud. You need to calm down and lower your voice. But it's like, it's normal in this realm. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, and it was fun. Him interacting with Olivia Wilde's character. He gets set up on a blind date, and they end up hitting it off really well. But when they start to she's like, I want something more out of this relationship. I just don't want a one night stand. And he kind of hesitant. This is very early on in his new operating system world, era, whatever you want to call it. And so he's still getting to know his operating system, and it's just, he kind of hesitates. He's just like, well, I have my goddaughter's christening or whatever, birthday next week, and then she's like, you're a creep, and then she like, I'm going home, and leaves, and it's like okay, that scene kind of bothered me a little bit because the way she automatically she went like 180 on him, and it's like she was so into him and to a point, and it's like, you know what, I don't want this to be a one night stand, and he kind of starts like, well, and then she's like, you're a creep, you're being a creep, and I'm not, and within the realm of the world, I don't know if that means like what it means to us, you know what I mean? It's just like a creep is like dirty pervert, that kind of thing, but maybe it means different in that realm of the world, but I don't know, it just kind of like, wow, she just turned 180 on him like that. It's like, whoa. So what else went on in that movie? It's just, and the voice of Scarlett Johansson, she did an excellent job, and I read that I can't believe she didn't get an Oscar nomination for this role. Because I heard that she got snubbed for that when this movie came out, and now I understand why. Because I think they have to technically be in the movie, and so I would have loved to seen like a quick have they can draw. They had like that little Pokedex looking thing, and they could draw and stuff like that. I wish they kind of drawn a picture of her, and so like, oh, she's in the movie technically. So that'd been great, but. And they also have this really cool video game in the movie where he plays, and it's just a fun movie, and it kind of makes you think that I kind of want to just throw all the technology out the window for a little bit, because I kind of see where this movie could go, where we could go now, because we're still in the early stages of everything. Like, people rather text than communicate personally. And it's like, wow, I kind of miss that. I kind of I just need to put everything away for a while and just kind of like, you know what? If you want to talk to me, come to my house. Or if I want, that kind of thing. So, or call me. I don't even care. I'll pick up the phone. I have no caller ID. So, anyways, so it's just kind of like that. And it's just fun. It was a good movie. I liked it. It was a good movie for the end of this first 4 days with, directed by Spike Jonze, or Jones, how you pronounce his last name. Yeah, it's just really fun. I liked it. Joaquin Phoenix was a really great actor in it. The voice of Scarlett Johansson was good in it. And there you have it. Those are the 4 movies that I watched for this new project that I am doing. Lucy, Better Living Through Chemistry, Chef, and Her. Good selection. Good first 4 movies for this project. And I hope it continues for the rest of the month. The next video will be in 4 to 5 days with a new crop of movies. I just hope they live up to this first 4 movies, because they kind of set the standard. These are good 4 movies that I started out with. So my name is Max James, and I'm going to go geek out.